The Loop 110 betting picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up with promo code RACESGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, sportsgamblingpodcast/RITHMM.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you asked me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Hello, friends. SVG. Welcome into the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. I'm Cody Zeeb. No Rod Villagomez today. He's back en route to California to the home base after his Army training out in Virginia. So we'll be good to have him back home. He should be back on the show tomorrow. That will be great. But for today, it's just me. You're stuck with me. So the chat already popping. Appreciate that. If you have questions on the Xfinity Series or the whole weekend at all, go ahead and jump in and get the questions in. JDK already saying, don't worry, I'll be here to argue with. He's very good at arguing with me. We've been having our arguments in the Discord, always a good time. So I appreciate that. If you got questions, you got guys you like, you want to highlight, drop them in the comments. I will be taking questions as I've done on some of these recent solo shows, whatever. Solo show. Yeah. Solo show. There we go. Anyways, Mark in Mississippi with the Joey Hand Top 10. I did give that out yesterday on the Cup Series episode, Mark. So make sure you go back and check that out. Arturo checking in. Hello, guys. Let's make some money. I agree. Let's make some money. Jessica with a good evening. And Laura as well checking in. Hey, Cody. Hey, Laura. How are you? Glad you guys are all here with me. Let's see. Before we jump into the Xfinity Series race, I would like to tell you that the latest episode of SGP Stories is out on Patreon, and the guys do a forensic files style deep dive into the Bobby Petrino motorcycle accident that cost him his job. Plus, make sure to check out the WNBA Gambling Podcast, as Terrell and Scott have started out red hot with their locks. That's no joke. They are like on fire with their picks. So if you're having a little trouble here on the NASCAR side of things, you go check out the WNBA Gambling Podcast because they've been doing a hell of a time. DM Punk is checking in again today. Please scream the show again. Still running the chainsaw. What are you cutting out a whole forest out there, or what's going on? Dos Flacos with the cheers, boys, or boy, he says with the beer emoji. Cheers, Dos Flacos. Cody Rhodes. There you go. I gave you a WWE reference. That way you don't have to wait too long since Rod's not here. Probably the only one we're going to get on the show today. Walter checking in with the What's Up, Cody? Happy 4th. Yes, happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to all you guys out there. Please be safe this week/weekend as you're partaking in the blowing up of things. It is a lot of fun, but if you start the week with 10 fingers, let's try and finish the week with 10 fingers as well. Okay, so here to talk about the Xfinity Series race. Talked about the Cup Series race with Rod yesterday. Rod did leave me a few picks, by the way. So I do have a couple of picks from Rod to give out on the show. He's we can really, I can make up whatever I want because he's not here to defend himself. I probably won't do that, but I can at least make fun of his picks if I don't like them, and he can't argue with me. So I don't really mind that at all. But we talked about this yesterday on the Cup Series episode just to kind of set things up. The way that we're approaching betting this is a lot like a super speedway. Not as much in you need to have a bunch of long shots because that's not necessarily, although I think a healthy share is fine, but just kind of approach this like a much lighter week. It's a street race. We don't really know, especially the Xfinity Series. I mean, I haven't looked at last year. I remember Cole Custer won the race. That is the only thing. I haven't looked at anything else because it doesn't matter. The Xfinity race was an absolute shit show. I think there was like 3 actual laps of racing. They ended the race early, ahead of even getting to halfway. It just like the whole thing, shit show. Throw it out. Don't even think about it. This is basically the Xfinity Series first time here. So we're going to approach it that way. And, there's not really anything to compare it to. You can pull up road course statistics and lean on guys that are better at road courses. Of course, that's going to make sense because it's the closest comparison there is. Guys like SVG, who obviously are in this race, is the heavy favorite because, well, he won the Cup Series race at this race last year. So it would make sense, and he's dominated the Xfinity Series as far as road courses go this season also. So it does make a lot of sense for him to be the heavy favorite, but kind of approach it with that mindset of super speedway. Let's take it a little bit lighter. Let's not go overly crazy, and because I think we don't exactly know just yet what we're getting out of this. So that being said, it is the Loop 110, 50 laps for 110 miles through the streets of Chicago. Should be a fun and exciting race. So far, the temperature and weather is looking good. So knock on wood, hopefully it will stay that way. There is 43 entries for 38 spots in this race. So 5 drivers will be going home from this race. Ty Dillon is entered in the number 4 for JD Motorsports. The number 6 is Thomas Anuaziata. I probably completely fucking butchered that, but we're going to go with it anyways. Alex LeBay returns to this race in the 07 for SS Greenlight. The number 14 for also SS Greenlight is Andre Castro. So obviously some teams are bringing in some street course ringers for this, as you may know. Joey Logano is in the 15 car. We talked about this yesterday, replacing Haley Deegan for this race. He was on the Dale Jr. Download, I believe it was, talking with Dale on Tuesday, and the way that he brought this up and mentioned, they kind of called me last week and said, hey, we think we're going to have this ride opening. The way that he phrased it makes it sound like maybe Haley's not coming back. So I'll kind of be interested to see you there. Shared my thoughts yesterday about how, their excuse is he's getting in the car to figure out what's wrong with it and how they can get more speed. Why you do that at the street course, not an oval, makes zero sense to me. And Dale Jr. actually kind of echoed that as well. So it's always nice when you say something and Dale Jr. agrees with you because he kind of knows what he's talking about. So it'll be interesting to continue to watch that. Kyle Larson is going to be in the 17 for Hendrick Motorsports. This is a very, very loaded field, by the way. Tyrone Gibbs in the 19 car for Gibbs, of course. John R. Nemechek returns to the 20 car. Last week's winner in the Xfinity Series race for Gibbs. Sage Karam is back in the 26. My boy Austin Green back in the 32 car once again this week for Jordan Anderson. The 35 is Brad Perez. Daniel Suarez is going to be in this race in the 36 car for DGM. That's the same team that Ross Chastain's been racing for. He usually is in the 92. Suarez is taking the other one. A lot of these guys, I think, are just taking this opportunity to get extra laps and extra reps, and might be worth noting as you go back and think more on your Cup Series picks. These guys who are in this race are going to have that extra experience, so I think that could translate as well. The number 45 car is Alan Day, I'm guessing. I think that's what that is. Preston Pardis returns in his number 50 car. The number 88 is Connor Mosack this week. Keep that name kind of in the back of your mind. We'll talk about him later. And the number 92 car is Josh Balicki this week. So a loaded entry list. Again, 43 cars. So that means 5 of these guys are going home. Keep that in mind if you're going to kind of place any bets on some of these more ringers and stuff. That, it could be where they may not make the race. You may want to wait on betting them or check on your books as far as, what the rules are if they, don't make the race, whether your bet's voided or whatnot there. So Wood Brothers officially made it official today that Josh Berry will be in the 21 next year. Again, to nobody's surprise there because we all knew this was coming, but it's now been officially announced. So he will take over for Harrison Burton in that ride. Rodney Childers, as of now, is not going with him. They haven't announced who the crew chief will be. Said they're looking at people inside of Penske and outside. So I would assume Rodney's probably taking his time to decide where he wants to go and what job offers he may be getting. Also thought it was notable Martin Truex Jr. mentioned on the Dale Jr. download, which he was on for today's episode what is today? Wednesday. It is today's episode on Wednesday. He said that it's almost a guarantee he'll run the Daytona 500 in 2025, and then talks about wanting to run Xfinity and Truck Series as well as help Ryan get some more opportunities. Dale Jr. had kind of commented a couple of weeks ago, Martin might just appear into the woods and you'll never see him again. Martin very much sounded like that will not be the case. He still wants to get in the race car. Yes, he's going to spend more time fishing and hunting, and he loves that, but does want to have plenty of time in the race car. Wants to be in the Truck Series. Won the last Truck Series start he made, of course, Bristol Dirt a couple of years ago, and wants to run in the Xfinity Series, which put him in the Xfinity Series, New Hampshire, some of these other tracks, in those Joe Gibbs cars. Oh, buddy, watch out because he's going to be really fucking good, obviously. So, and then for the Daytona 500, Gibbs would not be able to field another car as they're limited at 4. So you would assume that 2311 would be the ones that field that car, as Denny had mentioned before. He had a ride waiting for him, and it sounds like whatever the deal may be, it's almost a done deal. Also notable, Dale Jr. had said before that he can only drive Chevrolet, or not Chevrolet. He can only drive Toyota. He still has a deal with Toyota, so won't be driving for like Dale Jr. and Xfinity. It would likely be on the Gibbs side of thing and the Toyota side of things. So, that was a lot of stuff, but I think that catches us up through the news, get you set up for the entry list, which means that it is time to place the bets. I will remind you again, if you're joining us live in the chat, I will take questions and try to answer all of them. If you have thoughts or anything, make sure you share those in the live chat as well. So let's do this. Let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Pick 8 is now live for Underdog Fantasy. Create entries with up to 8 picks on Underdog, and Underdog will automatically double flex your entries, so you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. With more picks to make and extra ways to win, the excitement is higher than ever. The best part, you can win up to 325 times your original amount. You can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries. I can't wait to make the pick 8s this weekend. Of course, you're going to have Xfinity Series at Chicago. You're going to have the Cup Series at Chicago. F1 is back as well for the British Grand Prix. So you'll be able to mix and match between those and get your pick 8 in with them. So make sure you go sign up with promo code RACESGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. We're also brought to you by the Circa Survivor and Circa Millions. Circa is back with the Circa Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Of course, Circa contests always have no rake. So, if they get more than that in entries, they're going to just, make the pot bigger. If they don't get that, Derek Stevens is going to sweat it out himself and pay the difference. So they are going to, guaranteed prizes and have the chance to go up with collecting no rake. The Circa Millions pick is a pick 5 for NFL teams. You pick 5 NFL teams ATS each week, compete for $6 million, or survive the NFL gauntlet to claim the $10 million prize. You got to sign up in person at Circa Sports between now and September 7th, and then you can use a proxy to play from anywhere. We even have a deal with footballcontestproxy.com to save you $50 with promo code SGPN. I know our guy Moonoff has used them, highly recommends them, and they've won some big contests for sure. If you don't have a trip booked for Las Vegas yet, the Ultimate Contest weekend is a great time to go out, hang out with Ryan and Sean, and enjoy some of the open bar events at the greatest sportsbook in the world, August 22nd through the 24th. I would be remiss if I didn't mention how great an open bar is. I don't want to leave Rod hanging there, of course. And make sure you go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com as well. I did write up articles about both of these contests, giving my survivor for the first 6 weeks. Also, they count Thanksgiving as its own week, which is Thanksgiving and Black Friday. And I think it's Christmas Eve and Christmas Day is its own week as well. And so I gave out all of my picks for that for the survivor. So make sure you go check those out. You can also use those on your own survivor things and to place bets on the first week of ATS stuff. So make sure you check out all those wonderful things. All right. Little Joker wants to know, where is Rod? Was he fired for his non-Ty Gibbs bet yesterday? Yes. Actually, that's exactly the case. Rod talked shit about Ty Gibbs. I will not stand for that. And he's serving a 1-show suspension right now. So, unless I decide otherwise, he will be back tomorrow. No, that's actually not really the case, but he will be back tomorrow. That is the case. But traveling back from Virginia today. So wishing him safe travels. Glad he'll be back with his family for the holiday. Dos Flacco's checking in with a Kligerman top 5 plus 350. I don't mind that at all. Not one I'm going to give out today, but I think that it is good there. Walter, we'll get to your question here in a minute. And Laura's just laughing at me, which, but hey, I also am laughing at myself. So, okay, friends. Well, let's actually just jump right in to Walter's question, because Rod did share some picks with me. So I will. He didn't get a chance to fill out the entire sheet as he's between flights and whatnot today, but did share a few picks that he wanted to me to share, and then left a few notes in here with them as well. This might actually get him another show suspension, little Joker. So unfortunately, Walter wants to know, what are my thoughts on Allmendinger versus Gibbs in the head-to-head? He says, thanks. Here's Rod's thoughts for you. And again, I would like to clarify, this is a Rod Villagomez pick from Rod himself. I did not endorse this pick, and it reflects his opinions and not mine. He's got AJ Allmendinger over Ty Gibbs at plus 120 over on Superbook. And then his note says cashed in both the left and right races so far this season. So, yeah, there you go. That's where Rod stands on this, is AJ over Ty. Both of these guys have sort of had struggles in Xfinity this year. Ty's been in a couple of races, and it's just something has gone wrong. We saw it last week. He was the fastest car early on, and then, a bad pit stop or something. He kind of gets back in traffic and just never really able to recover, which was unfortunate having bet on him. But I picked him to win tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but yesterday I picked him to win the Cup Series race this weekend. I think Ty is going to show up good this week, but I also picked AJ to win that race too. I think really this is a pretty fair head-to-head. So if you're getting plus 120 on the AJ side, I can't say I would argue against it. But I feel like Ty is going to be good here. I think both of them need to overcome bad luck that they've had lately. So definitely, some concern there. But Rod is going with AJ Allmendinger over Tyrone Gibbs, plus 120 over on Superbook. Bear with me as I take a drink here. Let's see. I am going to go with my first pick. I'm going with Sam Mayer over Joey Logano, minus 125 over on Superbook. Stop me if you've heard this before, but Sam Mayer being a little bit disrespected by the books. I feel like we've not learned our lesson at any point in time ever, I guess. So I don't know. Here's my thinking with this. You got Joey Logano entering this race. Big name. I get it. That's great. That's wonderful. He's going to this 15 DG, whatever it is, this 15 AM racing car. And we've not seen Hailie Deegan do very good in it. Now, that's Hailie Deegan, and this is Joey Logano. I get there's a big talent difference there. I think personally that Joey is just using this as an opportunity, and he said as much on the Dale Jr. download. He's using it as an opportunity to get more laps on this track. Fucking smart on his point, right? Because maybe, I'm guessing when he committed to this, he might not have been in the playoffs yet and thinking he's going to need a playoff race. And now, of course, he's, according to NBC, locked into the playoffs in the Cup Series. But still, to get the extra laps on this and have the extra practice, I think will be good for Joey Logano. But do you really expect a lot out of Joey Logano on a street course? Not a big road course guy. he does all right in his certain spots, right? Like Sonoma's kind of a sneaky good spot for him, but in general, not super great on the road courses. But Sam Mayer, on the other hand, first of all, really fucking good in the Xfinity Series, and second of all, has been pretty good at road courses, right? Again, not a direct comparison from road course to this, but it's the closest thing we have to look at. You go back to Sonoma, Sam Mayer, third place finish there. You go back to Coda earlier this season, right in the middle of a 30th and 38th place finish when he was having the worst luck ever, and Sam Mayer still finished in 9th place. Portland, he finished in 28th, but let me remind you, he was third place late in that race before the issue of he ended up bumping the wall and having that flat tire and costing me a lot of money. So, of course, I remember that. He was third last year at Portland. He won... he won the Charlotte Roval last year. He won Watkins Glen last year. He was second at the Indy Road Course last year. He won Road of America last year. He was seventh at Coda last year. Sam Mayer's not a bad road course guy. On the contrary, he's actually very good at road courses. You get Joey Logano, and I think this is one of these things where it's a guy with a name. You got Joey Logano in here because he's got the name. He's the Cup Series guy, all this fun stuff, but Sam Mayer is clearly the much better road course racer, and we're coming down into Sam Mayer again. He's in the Gibbs car, or not the Joe Gibbs car, but the Junior Motorsports car here. Whereas Joey Logano's in this AM racing car, and it's like, and Joey specifically said, Dale asked him, is Penske going to be prepping this car? Joey said, no, absolutely not. Penske's not touching it. They gave him the seat to put in the car, and he's going to wear their gear, obviously, probably the fire suit and helmet that he has for Sunday. But that's it for Joey Logano as far as this isn't even going to be a Penske prepped car, nothing. So if he's just shaking this car down for him and trying to get some extra laps, I don't think he's really going to be in competition for this. Whereas I think Sam Mayer, maybe a little bit of a live dog to even win this race. So give me Sam Mayer over Joey Logano, minus 125. A little bit juiced up for what we see on NASCAR bets a lot of times, but you only pay the juice if you lose. And really, minus 125, not a bad deal for as big of a discrepancy as I kind of see between these two guys. So that is Rod's first bet. My first bet. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and bring the rest of the show to you commercial free. And we're going to be commercial free after I tell you about Rhythm. If you're betting on player props, you need to download Rhythm. Rhythm is the go-to sports betting tool that transforms complex data into actionable insights, empowering bettors with smarter, data-driven decisions. Unlike other platforms, Rhythm combines advanced predictive analytics with an I'm not good with big words, guys. Sorry. With an intuitive user experience, making both easy and enjoyable. Rhythm's predictive models were born from the brains of MIT data scientists and quants, which clearly I am not. With over 3 years of data to help provide you with better AI-backed betting decisions, the Rhythm projections, much like the WNBA Gambling Podcast, have been red hot for WNBA and golf lately. You can claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Whew, got the hard part over. Rod always makes that look so much easier than it actually is. Now we can just continue on with the rest of the bets. Rod tossing out John Hunter Nemechek, top 5 at 7-1. Although he says on Superbook, which does Superbook have top 5 odds? Rod, are you trying to throw a wrench at me here? Superbook doesn't even have anything. So let's not that I'm questioning Rod's thing here, but let's make sure that we do have the correct number on this. I'd hate to give out a false number. He is 7-1 over on Bet365. Excuse me. 7-1 Bet365 for a top 5 for John Hunter Nemechek. He left no notes with this one because, it's John Hunter Nemechek. So, I don't really know. I think that you're getting John Hunter Nemechek and you're getting him in the Xfinity car for Joe Gibbs, right? So it's not the Sam Hunt car. So should be a decent car. As far as like getting a good finish on road courses, though, he's not the greatest. Now he's had some spots for sure where he's done well. And I was trying to quickly pull up his results here. 8th place at Sonoma, not so really. You look at that alone, that's not far out of there. And 3rd place at Coda. So, I don't remember specifically how those races unfolded, how he got up there, but strong runs for him there. Last season, 10th place at Portland, 8th place at the Roval, 6th place at Watkins Glen, 13th place at Indy Road Course. He was 2nd here at the Chicago Street Course, but obviously, I kind of mentioned earlier, you're going to toss that one out. But some decent results from John Nemechek on the road course. Is definitely not one of the top road course guys or the road course ringer that you would think of. But hey, yes, this race should be SVG and Kyle Larson and AJ and Ty Gibbs all hogging up the top 4, for 4 of those top 5 spots. But how many times do we see that that's not the case? Kyle Larson and SVG could race each other tough. We've never seen that before, right? Well, yes, we have, because that's what happened at Coda earlier on this season, right? So things can happen, and those guys don't necessarily take up all those spots. At 7-1, Rod, you just talked me into it. He's not even here yet. He still talked me into this finish. So I like it. I will back Rod on this one at the 7-1 top 5 for John Hunter Nemechek. I'm going to go with the top 5 of my own, and it's our guy Austin Hill. Been a little bit hit and miss lately, but they've sort of maybe started to figure some things out. He's plus 350 for a top 5 finish. And, we talk about him every week as far as being a guy that's going to hang around. It's going to be there at the end, going to avoid the chaos, going to show up, and he does a lot of times. But then you look at him at road courses, he's actually pretty good on the road courses. So you go back to Sonoma a couple weeks ago. Well, he started 3rd place, finished in 5th place. Well, that's a top 5 for you right there, right? So Coda earlier this season, 2nd place for him there. So again, another top 5 finish. 11th at Portland, not a top 5, but again, hanging around, kind of being in the area. Go back to last season, 5th place at Portland. That's another top 5 finish on a road course. 9th at the Roval, 4th at Indy, 3rd at Road America. Was 5th place here at Chicago Street Course. Again, not really weighing that into this, but we're tossing out there at least because it looks good. So we're going to do that anyways. But I think Austin Hill plus 350. This is really, I'm not quite sure why this number is so big. I get we've got a very loaded field here. I definitely understand that, but I don't think that Austin Hill should be quite at plus 350 for the talent he is and as good of a kind of low-key road course racer that he is. So I think that a little bit of a misprice here, and we're just going to trust it, right? It's Austin Hill. He tends to get these types of things done. So I think that he could get it done again. Rod's got another bet for us here. This one is Justin Allgaier top 3 finish, plus 450. 3rd place last year in this race, 2nd place at Portland are the 2 things that he points out with Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier, very much a underrated road course guy for what he's capable of. Finished 6th place at Sonoma, of course. The 2nd at Portland that Rod had mentioned. 13th at Coda. Not a bad run there. Obviously, a little bit outside of the top 3. But go back to last season, 5th place at Indy road course there. The 3rd place here at Chicago, of course. 5th place at Coda. So very good runs by Justin Allgaier. Again, we know he's in a good car. JDK says vomit. So he's obviously not in on this. Top 3, I think maybe a little bit of a tough pill to swallow. What is... let me just look as we're going here. What is his top 5 number? Because I would definitely feel more comfortable in the top 5. Obviously, top 5 would be more comfortable than a top 3. That's like when JDK earlier was saying he thinks the guy at 50-1 has a better shot to win than the guy at 80-1. That's kind of how that works, right, JDK? But let's see. Allgaier plus 240 for a top 5 for Allgaier. See, I think I'd much rather go that direction. If you want to go on Allgaier, but Rod says top 3, he can get it done plus 450. So there you go. That is Rod. I'm going to go back to the top 5 market, and I am going to go with a guy named Connor Mosack. That's right. We're going to get in on Connor Mosack. If I can get all of my tabs figured out here. This is I now understand Rod's problems all the time with all these millions of tabs you need to run this show. That's kind of how things go. But Connor Mosack is 6-1 for a top 5 finish this week. Very notable. He is in the number 88 for Dale Jr. and Junior Motorsports. So no starts from Connor Mosack this season. And, it's been a mixed bag of results from him, but he's also been in a mixed bag of cars, really, to be honest with you, piecing together rides, kind of different stuff here and there. Finished 35th in this race last year, but again, nobody fucking cares because the race was an absolute shit show. But a few things stick out to me. 8th place at Portland last year. Very good run by him there. And then I want to say, and I didn't have time to pull this up beforehand, but I believe that it was Road America where did they go to one of these races where he was battling it out like very late in the race, had a chance to win, and ended up having some issues. Also remember nicknaming him Connor Mosack last year because he dropped a bunch of oil on the track at one point and cost me some bets. But the point being here is that he is the type of guy he's in a more reliable car this year, right? We've seen the 88 car for Junior Motorsports kind of outrun some of the full-time cars a lot of times. So that is definitely a good part there. But he's been pretty good on. And then I'm trying to look up and see. I felt like he had some other road course racing. Maybe not. He's just kind of a part-time NASCAR guy for Connor Mosack. But the top 5 number I do like. JDK says Brandon Jones top 5 is 30-1. He knows I like the pain. I do like the pain, but I am not in on Mr. Brandon Jones this week. Thanks for trying to put that on me, JDK. Should we give that to Rod? He's got a couple of blank boxes here. We could fill in whatever bets we wanted to for Rod. So, no, not going to do that to Rod. It is a JRM guy, so I'm sure he would approve, but not going to go that far. So, Connor Mosack at 6-1 is my next top 5 bet there. Then we're going to go over to the Caesars Sportsbook because they're actually offering top Ford this week, which is market we generally don't get in Xfinity because on a week-to-week basis, there's only about 2 or 3 Fords that are worth the shit for the most part. But this week, they have got some... They've got actually some Fords in this race. So if you look at the Ford market, top Ford, you got Cole Custer, Joey Logano, they're co-favorites at -115. Riley Herbst at +275, Ryan Sieg at +450, Matt DiBenedetto, as Denny Hamlin would say, +650. And then you got Blaine Perkins, Kyle Sieg, Brad Perez, all at 25-1. What I'm doing here, I'm going Riley Herbst, +275. He's the third favorite guy on here. Got Cole Custer, defending race winner of this race. Again, we're completely throwing that race out. I shouldn't have even mentioned it because it doesn't matter that much. But Custer, he's going to be 5th place at the end of the day, right? So you just got to finish better than 5th to beat Cole Custer here because he's either going to finish 5th or sneak into a win when SVG, Larson, and Gibbs all get together in the last corner or something crazy. Because that's pretty much Cole Custer's MO there. So Custer's going to be consistent, but I don't think he'll be one of the better cars. Joey Logano, I already talked about kind of fading him against Sam Mayer. I don't expect Logano to be great. I think a top 10 would be asking a lot for Joey Logano in this race, if we're going to be completely honest. I just don't see him up here. I don't see -115 for top Ford for Joey Logano. No, and if there's more head-to-heads that pop up throughout the week, I might consider getting in on other guys over Logano because I don't really see what the love is about for Logano in this car, in this race in particular. If we're talking about an oval, maybe it's different. If we're talking about a Penske prep car, maybe it's different, but it's not. Riley Herbst +275. I considered Ryan Sieg at +450, but I think that number is maybe a little too low. DiBenedetto, Perkins, Sieg, Perez, none of them, their numbers just aren't quite big enough, and none of them really strike fear in the heart. So, going to avoid those guys. But we know what Riley Herbst is capable of, right? Good runs, bad runs. He's been on either side of both for sure, and we know how that can go. 13th place at Sonoma. Not a bad run, not a great run, just kind of hanging out there. 10th place at Portland. Again, kind of the same thing. He did wreck out at Coda very early and had a poor finish there. If you go back and you look last year, though, a couple of positives here. Fourth place at the Charlotte Roval, so that was a good run. Fifth place at Road America, 12th place at Indy. I'm not going to rule out like a 10th or 12th place finish as being the top finishing Ford. Honestly, I think there's some possibility to that, because if Custer has an issue, then it really kind of opens everything up, because I don't think Logano's going to be that good. Sieg potentially maybe, but the other guys, I think there's going to have to be some crazy stuff for them to run that good. So really a 10th, 12th place finish might just be good enough for Riley to get it done here. 10th place at Coda again last year. So kind of just not the greatest road course racer. I don't think he's going to win this race. I don't even want to take his top 5 necessarily. I think top Ford is the way to get in on him, because really I'm kind of looking at this as a small group with Custer, Logano, and Sieg for the most part. Again, these are the 4 guys, and I want to leave them out because we've seen at road courses, long shots can win these group matchups, these top manufacturers, but really the competition is with Custer and maybe Sieg, in my opinion. So give me top Ford, Riley Herbst at plus 275. Rod does have a couple of empty boxes here, so I'm going to skip him for a few before we get to his outright number. I am going to go back to my boy, Austin Green. That's right. He is back for another road course race. Son of David Green, of course. We've talked about him multiple times throughout this year. He's got 3 starts this season. Excuse me, guys. I guess I should give out his number, top 5 at plus 900, 9-1 you're getting on Austin Green here. 3 starts this year, guys. 15th place at Portland. Okay, whatever. Really, that's not that bad for a guy top 5 at 9-1. 4th place at Sonoma. 7th place at Circuit of the Americas. So in 3 starts, he's got 2 top 7s. You're getting him 9-1, and he's obviously specifically running on road courses for a reason. So, if these are the races where he's getting in on these, then I think that we need to take something from that, because obviously they're focusing on him in this stuff. Not to mention that, but he also competes full time in the SCCA Trans Am TA2 Pro Series, and so he's got some other street course racing, road course racing type of stuff there. So very notable for Austin Green. I've been very impressed with him. 2 top 7 finishes in 3 starts. Getting him at 9-1. This is a no-brainer for me for Austin Green to fit inside of the top 5. You might need a little bit of chaos. You might need a little bit of crazy stuff, but there's kind of 2 ways I think that Chicago can go. It can be a very boring follow the leader track position race, or utter and complete chaos. We saw it last year. If you get one wreck in one of these corners, it just stacks everybody up. Crazy shit. You got people running into tire barriers, a lot of restarts. If we're doing double file restarts, that's going to be messy. It could be, and that's kind of, I think, part of the playing it like a super speedway thing. This could be just an utter and complete shit show. Last year was a shit show, but we had the rain to blame. If we don't have the rain to blame and it's just a shit show this year, I mean, we've seen the Cup guys can hardly handle overtime on a normal oval track. Now you're putting these Xfinity guys on a street circuit. Like, a lot of things can go wrong. So I think that a guy like Austin Green, top 5, definitely has a chance at 9-1. I've seen enough from him to be very impressed so far this season. All right, guys. Well, that's it for all of the picks except for the outrights. So let's get into the outright market. Rod has 1 bullet here. I will give you all a moment to guess in the chat who his 1 bullet is. I'm sure you probably guessed at this point. AJ Allmendinger, 7-1 over on Superbook for AJ. That's who Rod's going with to win this race. Look, it's AJ Allmendinger. I mean, I don't really know what else to tell you. Dos Flacos with the boo. He's coming in hard with the boo there. But he's the greatest road course racer in Xfinity Series history, easily, right? He's got the record for most wins. He's been dominant over the years. And when you kind of look at the outright market, I'm gonna look at Superbook here. SVG's a 2-1. Oh, guys, I know he's been really good. He should come out and win this race. He should. But how many times do we say stuff like that about guys like Kyle Larson at numbers like this? Like, yes, he should come out and kick everybody's ass because it's a street course, because he won here last year, because he's dominated all 3 road course races in Xfinity this year. Although one, he ends up with a horrible finish. But at 2-1, you got SVG. Larson's at plus 350. Gibbs is at plus 500. And then you got AJ at 7-1. And I think what Rod's thinking here is you can sort of throw a blanket kind of over these top 4 guys. I think that they're layered correctly, right? It should be SVG, it should be Larson, it should be Gibbs, and then AJ's next there. But they're closer than maybe the numbers suggest. They're going from 200 to 700. These guys are teammates. They're both going to be in college cars. And AJ's been in this series for a long time. Talked about it yesterday. He's got the street racing experience and all of that. So I don't think Rod is wrong having AJ Allmendinger here at 7-1 on Superbook. I think that if you're convicted on SVG, if you want to play him at 2-1, go for it. The reason he hasn't come up on this show today, as far as anywhere else to bet him, you're not getting good numbers on anything for him. I mean, even his he's only minus 200 or he's plus 200 to win the race, which kind of tells you the story of what you're getting. He's minus 250 for a top 3 finish. So where a guy like Kyle Larson's only minus 125, it's impossible to bet on him anywhere other than in the outright market. If you want to go against him, guys like Larson are matched up against him at plus 140. I almost took that just out of the principle that these guys are close enough. You shouldn't be getting plus 140 on one side or the other. I am a little scared that SVG just kicks everybody's ass. So I didn't give it out as an official play here, but one I'm considering and may end up taking later in the week. But instead of playing that, I am just going to take Kyle Larson as my outright. Plus 350. Here's the thinking here. Again, it should be SVG, plus 200. I get it. He's really good. All of this stuff. But you're giving me the greatest driver in the world. Plus 350. Going to be in good equipment. Going to be strong. We saw him steal the Coda win from SVG earlier this season. Could end up being a situation like that. If somebody can get up there and outduel SVG here, I think it could be Kyle Larson. Pick your poison of these favorites. I think any of the 4 of them you can make a strong case for. I'll take Larson at plus 350 as the guy I'm going to play. And then Dos Flacos, he's in the document. He sees it. Sam Mayer at 14-1. See you there. Yes, you will. Why is Sam Mayer at 14-1? I just told you earlier about I got so excited I moved the microphone. I just told you earlier about how fucking good he was at road courses last year and all the wins he got and all the first, second, third place finish. Like, he's been really good at them. What did he do at Chicago last year? I don't know, and I don't fucking care because it doesn't matter. Sam Mayer should not be 14-1. Little Joker, a true Ty Gibbs fan, I believe, says Mayer blows. I know that the Ty Gibbs fans generally see. I like both guys, but whatever. Different story for different day. 14-1. This is just an auto bet. I don't care if he sucks at road courses. He shouldn't be this number because he's continually been mispriced, continually been wrong, and as far as the price goes, we've hit it on multiple times. I think you got to play him again. I talked about him earlier on. Did I give out? Oh yeah, I gave him out over Joey Logano was the way that I ended going out, but definitely want to get in on him. What is his top 5 number actually? Because he's only plus 130. See, that's what doesn't make any sense. AJ Allmendinger 7-1 to win this race at minus 125 for a top 5, and then Mayer is twice the odds at 14-1, but he's plus 137 for a top 5, which doesn't make a ton of sense there either. But Mayer at 14-1 is probably my favorite bet on the board as far as the outrights go. You're getting a ton of value and a guy that can just go out and win this race. Believe in Sam Mayer. Love Sam Mayer. He can get it done. And then guys going with a long shot here, Connor Mosack, 60-1. He's in a JRM car. I think we could see a little bit of something from Mosack this week. Is he just going to come out and win this race? Probably not. Probably going to need some help. Probably going to need SVG to blow a tire and take Kyle Larson out on the way. Or Larson and Gibbs to rough each other up, and AJ to, have some random part failure that he always seems to have, or lose his power steering, whatever the case may be. You're probably going to need some help. But if Mosack can put himself in a good position, this is a huge opportunity for him getting in the 88 car for JRM. Might take some help, but it's 60-1. I think that it's worth the play. And JDK checking in says, wouldn't be surprised if somehow Creed ruins all these bets. I don't think that anybody would be surprised by that, JDK, because we've all been there. We've seen it happen before. One final play before I get out of here with you guys. You think I was going to leave out Tyrone Gibbs when he's in the Xfinity Series? No, I'm not. Tyrone Gibbs to win the Xfinity Series race and the Cup Series race. He sweeps the weekend, becomes the second Gibbs driver to do that in the last few weeks. Gets it done in both races. This is plus 10,824. Basically, you put $10 on it, and it's 1.1K. You are welcome. Thank me later. My Venmo will be open if you would like to tip after you hit this bet. But I think that, and really we kind of gotten in on, with the AJ play, with the Larson play, the Gibbs play, we're kind of covered in a bunch of different ways here without, just completely eating up all of your value as long as SVG doesn't win. And that's, I did a similar thing in the F1 article that I have out on sportsgamblingpodcast.com. You're kind of covering yourself, finding a way to kind of bet on the top 4 guys outside of Verstappen. You just need Verstappen to not win. And I know that's asking for a lot of times, but it's possible. And same thing here in Xfinity Series. So different ways to cover yourself. Little Joker says Cody knows. That's right. I got you covered with our boy Ty Gibbs there. But honestly, I think the Ty can get it done. I think he could have a huge weekend, win both of these races. A little $10 bet on there to win $1,000. That would that'd pay for a couple of nice steak dinners, as Rod likes to say. So I like it. All right. Well, that is all of the bets. I will go through and recap everything here. If you want to get your pen and paper out. Do you have any more questions? Any more bets you're eyeing? Any other drivers I didn't talk about? Get them in the chat real quick while I recap here, and we can talk about them before we get out of here. But Rod started the show off with AJ Allmendinger over Tyrone Gibbs at plus 120. I do not endorse or follow Rod on this bet, but he wants you to have it as a people. So fade or ride with Rod, whichever you may choose to do. I got Sam Mayer over Joey Logano, minus 125 over on Superbook. Don't think that this matchup is very close. Rod's got John Hunter Nemechek, top 5 at plus 700. He's not even here, and he talked me into this bet just by going through the numbers, so I do like it. Austin Hill, plus 350 for a top 5. That one is from me. Again, just kind of undervalued there. Rod went to Allgaier, top 3 at plus 450. Thinks that John Allgaier is going to be in competition at the end of this. I will say I did look at Allgaier's outright number because I think that he's being slept on a little bit there. He's 20-1 over on Superbook. Joey Logano has shorter odds. I think that that's kind of ridiculous. If you want to place a bet on Logano or Allgaier to win this race, don't blame you at all there. I had Connor Mosack for the top 5 at 6-1. I had Riley Herbst for the top 4 at plus 275. My boy Austin Green, top 5 at plus 900. Rod, his one-shot wonder, as he usually does for the outright. AJ Allmendinger at 7-1 over on Superbook. I'm giving you Kyle Larson at plus 350. Sam Superman Mayer at 14-1. And Connor Mosack at 60-1. Then I tossed out the Ty Gibbs weekend sweep parlay plus 10824. Tyrone Gibbs to win both races. Little Joker says he loves watching the show every week, even when Rod is talking out of his ass. Oh, come on now. Be nice to Rod just because he's not here. But yeah, we can both do a little bit of that. So that's how it goes. But anyways, I appreciate you all joining me today for the Xfinity Series episode. I don't know for sure what our plan is tomorrow. It is the 4th of July, so I don't know when or how we'll get an episode out, but we're going to have episodes out, whether it's out tomorrow, whether it's out early on the 5th. One or the other will be out for sure. DFS will have, DFS for both series, Xfinity and for Cup. I know there's some IndyCar bets out there, so maybe we'll toss a few of those out there. I can usually talk Rod into at least letting me give out a couple of them. So I may just do that. You'll have to stay tuned for the rest of the week. Nick Fortune checking in says, "Go Huskers!" Wow, Nick Fortune, that's great for you by saying that. Says, "Afternoon, Cody, giving out some great bets. Bless you, Cody. Bless you too, Nick Fortune. Nebraska's better than Iowa. Don't forget." And JB says, "I don't trust Gibbs pit crew in Xfinity. I don't trust them in the Cup Series either, unfortunately." But hopefully it's okay. Laura says, thanks, Cody. Enjoy your 4th. Yes, thank you. You too. I hope you guys all have a great 4th of July. We will see you back later this week. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us out over there. And then if you want to be notified about the live episodes, you get your questions in on the chat here. Click on that bell. In the meantime, you can follow Rod over on the X at RJ Villagomez. You can follow me as well at Husker_Zeeb. I got a ton of stuff out there, a bunch of Arena Football League stuff. Rod and I both do some work for the league itself and their official website. So for some fun stories over there as the playoffs are ramping up this weekend. Make sure you check all that out. Hot dog eating contest, underdog picks over on sportsgamblingpodcast.com. I got F1 article with the best bets for this week. That is out as well. Make sure you check that out. I got a Cup Series article with some bonus bets coming out later this week. A lot of other fun stuff. So check it out. And Little Joker agreeing with me as well. He says, JB, Ty's Cup crew isn't much better. Trust me. That's been unfortunate lately, but hopefully they'll figure all that out. But yeah, again, thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Fun show. We will hopefully be back tomorrow. Have a good, happy, safe Independence Day. And let's go racing and let it ride.